Welcome everyone to another episode of Time for BL. This is the podcast where we review movies, TV shows, novels, and comics, all in the boys love genre. Don't mind me, I'm recording on my phone because I just did not feel like setting up the whole mic setup that I have. So let's go. So this review is going to be about one of the greatest BLs I have ever watched. I need to read the manga. I've not read the manga for this one, but oh my god. I love this show. It was perfection. And that is A Man Who Defies the World of BL. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that a show that jam-packed so much of the BL tropes that I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. What it did actually was open my eyes to a lot of the BL tropes and had me going, oh my god, yeah, that happens all the time. Oh yeah, they always do that too. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, all the things I haven't noticed that this show just like opened my eyes to, and oh my gosh, yeah. So I watched A Man Who Defies the World of BL on Viki. I watched both seasons back to back. I kept watching. I'm not even lying. The second time I watched season 2 is when it finally hit me that it's the cast of the show doing the opening theme song. Like, that was the moment I was like, oh wait, yo, that's him. And that's him. And wait, who's that guy? Oh, that's him. Yeah, that's how much I didn't notice until the second time rewatching. And just the theme song, the way it starts is just so much fun. The fact that they were able to jam-pack so many tropes into the show, and part of me definitely wished it was an anime so they could get definitely more animated, especially with the main character Mob. Really get to see him like spaz out even more. But they did a great job with a live action with how animated he was. How animated everything was, and how cartoony everything still felt. And of course, the flowers. Oh my gosh, the flowers. It was beautiful. So yeah, the story follows our main character, Mob. We don't actually know his name. He's just listed as Mob on everything. He never says his name. No one ever says his name. He's just called like Big Brother and Son, and like no one says his name. But it doesn't matter because he's just a background character, okay? We don't need to know a background character's name anyway. Mob realizes he's living in this BL world as he's attending BL University, and his little brother has been confessed to by a rose prince, which is beautiful. If you hear licking in the background, that's my cat. I was just like, what's that noise? It's my cat. But yeah, like, oh, by the way, like, his little brother, like, that whole scene was so cute when he's like looking at his brother like, no, he's just confusing friendship with interest. Oh my gosh, yeah, and then they're just like playing. It's so funny. Oh. The show is filled with so much humor that I personally feel has a more universal style. With a lot of comedies, depending on the country, they kind of go with the comedy of that country. So with the UK, if you've ever seen like Keeping Up Appearances or Are You Being Served, can I think of something from this century? Well, is it from this millennium, from this anything? Like what has recently come out that has the UK version of Shameless as well? Still old. But a lot of those, the comedy style, for a lot of it will rely mostly on the dialogue. It doesn't do as much physical comedy. as like, for example, American comedies might do, or like a lot of the exaggerated motions that Thai, Korean, and Japanese comedies will do as well. And of course, you know, the sound effects that are very popular with a lot of Asian dramas, mostly Korean. I think it started with Korean BLs. Not Korean BLs, I'm sorry. I think it started with Korean dramas with like the sound effects to show like the silly character, and then it spread because K-dramas got so popular. I might be 100% completely wrong, but everything that's trying to be a K-drama seems to do those effects, which makes me automatically assume that it's from the K-dramas and not from like American or Western comedies that it came from. But yeah, it's filled with humor. It has a very universal style. Anyone can get into it as far as I'm concerned, because I personally don't necessarily like the slapstick style of comedy. I prefer the dialogue comedy, and I was still able to really appreciate the slapstick that was in there because of the way it was put in. The slapstick humor was put in to show the BL tropes, and that's what made it amazing. I think the slapstick, or just everything about the comedy that was put in there and everything was so fit into the storyline, especially since the episodes are technically really short that were put together on Viki, it looks like, for the 30-minute runtime. But those like little mini shorts I'm sorry, I don't know why that cracked me up, but yeah, those shorts to me just did so well that I didn't feel overwhelmed. In a way, it kind of felt like the animated version of Way of the House Husband. Haven't really watched the live action version. I've seen parts of the live action version, but not all of the episodes. But yeah, the anime, it definitely has a feel of that at parts of it. And it also, because of course the main character is very aware of what's going on and is calling it out. If you like Psyche K, I think you'll definitely like this as well. Because just like Psyche K, he's noticing everything around. He's calling it out. He's finding ways to set up situations so that he doesn't fall in love. Because that's the whole thing. He's trying to make sure he doesn't end up the main character of a BL. He's just a background character. And he wants to stay a background character and just live his life. So the whole show, we're just seeing how Mob is purposely doing everything it takes to avoid being the main character. He's trying and failing to find a girlfriend. He's avoiding drunk men lying in the streets. And he's even setting his friends up to fall in love with each other. Which, by the way, gives him a break where he is able to feel safe enough to get drunk with these friends. Because, hey, y'all are with each other now. I don't have to worry. Mob is extremely fun to watch, to enjoy his whole, like, sometimes he has like this look of seriousness through the whole thing because he's just like, I'm just trying to not be the main character here, but it's just so funny and silly with everything he does. And his little brother is so cute, Ayato. Like, oh, he is so adorable. And Kikuchi definitely deserves all the love. Those two are my favorite adorable characters in the show. The theme song is a bang. It's a banger. It's awesome. I don't know who wrote it. I probably should have looked that up. Don't know who wrote it. Don't know who actually sang it. Maybe it was the main guy. I don't know them like that. I just know that they killed the performance of it. Actually, I think it probably was them because that part sounded like his voice. Like that whole part. But like it was so good and so amazing, so much fun to watch. I enjoyed it every time. Every time that theme song came on, I was dancing because it was so amazing. Both seasons. and I need a season 3 now. Oh my gosh, the way it ended, I'm like, no, you cannot end it like this. I need a season 3. And honestly, because of how hilarious this show is, I honestly have 0 negative comments about the show itself. How they treated everything throughout the show with all the tropes being addressed, even the negative stuff, it really showed that they know the material, be it the manga or just BL mangas in general. Every trope was displayed as it is. Here is this trope, here is this trope, and it really, I just wanted it to keep going and going. I just wanted to enjoy this for the rest of my life. The scene with the sleepover addresses how 2 couples really just ignored the comforts of the other people around them for their own pleasure, with Mob being unable to sleep because he's stuck in the middle of everything. And it is played for humor, but it does also address, you know, how uncomfortable and wrong it is for your friends to put you in those positions. With everybody's like, oh, it's so cute, like I have to go to work, give a kiss, walk out, but Mom is just laying there with his eyes open like, I hate all of you, how could you do this to me? And it's played for laughs, but I think it was just done in a way that made me feel for Mob, that he's stuck in this cycle. And also, I love that he gets called out for leaving a drunk man on the street, because he talks about the ways he avoids, you know, falling into story traps. And one of the ways he avoids it is he doesn't get drunk out in public. He avoids like gangsters, avoids this, avoids that, like trying to make sure he doesn't trip into a story and start a story. And when someone is like into him and he can tell this person might be into him, he tries to get them to fall for someone else, because if they fall in love with someone else, that person will start the story and he doesn't have to worry about anything. So when he finally gets called out for leaving a drunk man on the street, I love that episode, because we see that he's going to these extremes to avoid these storylines, but there are other ways to avoid the storylines, because the other person was able to figure out a way to avoid the storyline like that without knowing that they would trip up a storyline. They're just like, there's a drunk man in the street, this is how we help. And even he's standing there like, oh yeah, why did I think of that? Because he's not thinking of those things, he's just trying to avoid these plot lines. It's awesome. So yeah, we learned that he's gone to some questionable extremes to avoid being the main character. And the drunk scene made me wonder if it was possible that he had other options with other stories, with other parts, especially when he finds out who was created for him and the way he tries to avoid that. And like, how do I explain it? Like all the things he did with his friends when he went out and went drinking with them and was setting them up with each other to avoid having to be with anyone. Could there be something else he could have done that wouldn't have been setting his friends up with each other? When he went out and took that girl's number, or took that girl's card, whatever it was, did he have to take the girl's card to trigger someone else's plot line? What if he had just not taken the card, moved on, and like when anyone asked him about the girl, like, yeah, she was really pretty, and didn't have to go overboard, because the other guy was already like, she was this, she was that. So maybe he would have been good no matter what, and he didn't need to do all that, and the plotline would have just been triggered the way it was anyway. So it's like, I was wondering maybe like the plots were already written, and no matter what he had done, whoever was created for each person would have found each other, and he never needed to go to those extremes. But at the same time, you know, we have the creator talking to him in the end and explaining the whole situation, and that also was amazing. I love how they brought him in the first season and brought him in again in the second season, and just showed like this one person who is just like, BL everywhere. I want that. Oh, I love that too. Oh my gosh, yes. A man who defies the world of BL. 0 negative comments at all. Show is a 9.9 out of 10. Nothing gets a 10. It gets a 10. It gets a 10. It gets a 10. It gets a 10. It's amazing! Oh, and I am so mad at myself for not watching it earlier. Because of the premise, I wasn't necessarily interested in it, because I was like, it's about a guy who's stuck in a BL world and he's just going to be making fun of BLs and blah, blah, blah. But when I watched it, there was just so many good plots, so many good stories. Especially Ayat, oh my god, his brother, Ayato. And oh god, what's his name? I can't remember the boyfriend's name. I did not write down the boyfriend's name. But especially their storyline, and then like all of their storyline, watching the beginning of their relationship, when they're in the relationship, when they're having hardships, like and just watching that timeline of them moving along within his story, like and also how he of course just accepts his brother. Like at first he's like, I must keep my brother away from this boy, but at the same time just, you know, accepts his brother falling in love and just wants to be there for him and is there as a voice when he needs it, and also just loves the kid because the kid is like a people pleaser and he will utilize that to the end. Oh my gosh, this show is amazing. Like I said, they need this is a show that I don't know if they should keep putting out season. They might need to just do a full drop and get it over with, cause I want more, and I know everybody who watched it definitely wants more. This is a short episode because I have, like I said, nothing negative to say, which is a very rare thing for me. Usually I'm like, I can find one thing that I had a problem with, but even the things that I may have had a problem with, which was like the scene with the friends who were all, you know, getting frisky in a room while their other friends are laying there. Like, even those scenes, I can even look, I can look at it and see how they did it with showing Mob laying there like, y'all stop, please stop. And go, you know what, they addressed it with someone who is not interested in being in a room while his friends are doing this, and it was done so wonderfully. Yeah, this is an amazing show, so if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out. I am so mad at myself for waiting as long as I did to see it. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I mean, 9.9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Time for BL. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, and good night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Also, pause. I just want to say real quick, hopefully people are still here. That whole thing that's going on with check out the series, where they were like, we might have to put an episode on OnlyFans. The first thing I thought was the Red Room scene in Kin Porsche, and they didn't have to put it on OnlyFans. And then the pool scene in Kin Porsche, and they don't have to put that on OnlyFans either. What did you film? You shouldn't have filmed it. But that is all I will say for now. That is all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Bye.